Look, you can criticize anything you want for any reason you want. I'm not trying to take that away from you. You have that right. So I'm going to exercise my right to criticize your criticisms. Here are 3 really lame criticisms that I hear all too often about Monster Hunter Rise. First, the terrible endgame. So you think Monster Hunter Rise has a shitty endgame? Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but it always has. This is because the endgame is the same as the regular game. You just keep fighting the same monsters over and over again. If you thought Monster Hunter Endgame was supposed to be about grinding, or talismans, or storyline, or you're waiting for more monsters to drop, then you're missing the point. The endgame is actually defined entirely by the player. So if you think Monster Hunter Endgame is boring, then you're probably just a boring person. People will say endgame sucks because there's nothing to grind for. But then if there was something to grind for, they'd say all you do in endgame is grind. You can never satisfy a boring person with no creativity. No game has ever been made that will satisfy these people because what they really want is to watch TV. Now, if I had to guess what the Monster Hunter devs thought the endgame was all about, I think they'd say that it's about learning new weapons. And it really always has been about that. At some point, new monsters stop showing up. All your rewards are earned. All your talismans are awesome. The only thing left that you haven't done yet is learn a new weapon type. This is fundamentally what Monster Hunter is and always has been. And if you're looking for something else, you're probably looking for another game. The second complaint I hear about Monster Hunter Rise is that the game is broken. It's not like it used to be, or it's missing features, or it hasn't really changed enough, or the new features are too different, or not implemented properly, or make the game too easy. They'll say it's not true to what Monster Hunter should be, that the new features aren't what players have been asking for, that the dev team is out of touch with what the player base wants. If you're one of these people, then you're just not paying attention. Look at all the new features in this game. You can essentially play the game as a monster, riding it around and attacking other monsters. If you're clever enough, you can clear quests entirely through riding monsters. What else can you do? You can climb almost anything and go anywhere on the map. It's more open than it ever has been, even more open than World. Not only can you jump, but you can practically fly. And you've got some ridiculous weapon customization. Players have been dreaming about these features for over a decade, and now that we have them, somebody's complaining about it? They claim they've been playing the game forever, yet I'm supposed to believe that they never once thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to control a monster and attack other monsters with it? Or, damn, I wish I could, jump. How many people played Monster Hunter Tri and thought, damn, I wish I could go climb around on that giant pyramid. Wouldn't it be nice to design my own custom weapon? Well, guess what you can do now, folks? Rise is different from previous versions of Monster Hunter. That doesn't mean it's broken. That just means that it's different. It may not fulfill your personal fantasies of what you thought it would be, but it is the game that the devs wanted to make. And they are smart enough to give us a new experience each time. You don't have to like them all, but again, you not liking it doesn't mean that it's broken. The third complaint I hear about Monster Hunter Rise is that the game is too easy. So you think that the game is too easy. That's just too bad. It is easy. You're good at the game. Your skills transfer from one version to the next. Oh, you say going back to an older game is harder? No shit. Each previous version is slower, has limited movesets. The timings are different. The skills transfer forward better than they do backward. That is by design. So don't cry because you're good at something. It makes you sound like a humble bragging elitist prick. Times change. Games change. You can't go home. You'll never get that new to the series feeling again, no matter how hard you try. So embrace the new features, enjoy them for what they are. And here's the cool thing about Monster Hunter Rise. If you don't want to use the new features, you don't have to. You can play this game entirely without them. All that said, what would I criticize about Monster Hunter Rise? What do I think is missing from the game? Where do I think the dev team dropped the ball on this version? Well, there are actually 3 things where I think it falls short. Overall, it's a great game. Still play it, obviously. Still love it. I think one of the biggest mistakes they made with Monster Hunter Rise is getting rid of the hot and cold drinks. Now, I understand why they did it. They did it for the same reason they introduced the Nullberry. They did it to simplify the number of things you need to bring on the quest. Now, in principle, I'm okay with that. But what it does in this case is break the immersion. When I go to the snowy map, I don't have to bring a hot drink or cold res skill. I never get cold. I'm never in danger of freezing to death. The map doesn't feel any more dangerous than, say, the flooded forest. So the map ends up feeling like it's just a regular board, but painted white rather than covered in snow. When I go to the volcano, I want to feel like if I step in the wrong spot, I'm going to die. I want to feel the oppressive heat bearing down on me, and I don't feel these things. The maps look great. They're beautiful, but they don't feel like snow or lava or heat because I don't have to do anything to prepare for the harsh physical environment. And so it's just color now. At first it seems like a nitpick, but this one small change takes away a lot of the immersion that previous versions had. The second thing Capcom dropped the ball on is that this game right now does not have Devil Joe. And a Monster Hunter without Devil Joe just isn't a complete game. Why isn't he in this game? I don't understand it. Somebody please explain this to me. It's the one monster that defines the series. The last thing I think is missing from this game is a decent siege quest. Let's just be honest. Rampage quests are garbage. You don't actually fight monsters. You fight these pseudo monsters. They don't care to kill you. They don't even want to be there. They're not trying very hard. You have a gong that multiplies your damage by 10 times or something ridiculous. On paper, it seems like a good idea. Forcing monsters to run a gauntlet, having NPCs help you out, having ballistas and cannons. But they aren't even as strong as regular monsters, let alone leviathans or giant beasts that are some immense threat to anything. It's hard for me to feel like this is an epic battle. It's more like a shittier version of Plants vs. Zombies. I didn't really care for the siege quests in World, but they were head and shoulders above this garbage. Now, for the siege quests and Devil Joe, maybe you're thinking wait for G rank, but we had these in high rank in previous versions, so it's reasonable to expect them here. As I said at the beginning of the video, you have a right to criticize anything you want for any reason you want. That's fine. It doesn't mean your criticisms are valid. It doesn't mean you're making a good point. And a game isn't broken just because you don't like it. This game does stand on its own, and it is self-coherent. It works. And I do have 3 criticisms of the game, but none of them make me think that the game is broken. None of them make me think that it isn't a Monster Hunter game. None of them make me think that they shouldn't have made this game the way it is right now. I think there are certain things that can improve the immersion, and I think there are certain aspects of this game, certain new aspects of this game that add to the immersion compared to previous versions. Devil Joe being missing, it's kind of a hard pill to swallow. I am biased, I know that. He is my favorite monster, and I just gotta say, Basil Juice is not a satisfactory replacement. He seems to be the guy that shows up when nobody wants him to. He's just not cutting it. And I can accept Rampage quests as part of this game. Being honest, I don't like them. That doesn't mean I think the game's broken. So there you have it. 3 really irrational criticisms of the game. 3 things I'd like to see improved upon in the game. Let me know what you think this game is missing, how you think it could be improved. Tell me how easy you think this game really is. What I'd be really interested to hear is if you're a new player, how easy is this game compared to other games you've played? That's all I got. Talk to you later.